Good morning, Year 4. So today this is going to be our third lesson looking at how to train your dragon by Cressida Cowell. So in today's lesson we're going to be looking at speech. And how to punctuate speech. We're going to read sections of chapter 1 again to see and try pick out where speech is in the story. And then we're going to write some of our own speech to reply to some of the things that the characters say in the book. So before we go anywhere, I would like you to pause the video and get a pencil and your book, because you are going to write some things down today. So pause the video and go get that now. Okay, so I've given you some chance to go get your book and a pencil so that you can write down your work. So, first of all, before we do anything, let's think about speech. So, what is speech? Just pause the video and have a little think. What is speech? So, speech is when somebody is talking to somebody or something. So it is when somebody speaks to somebody else using a language. Can we think why we use speech? Just pause the video and think why we use speech. Okay, good. It is used, so speech is used to communicate. So it's to tell each other what to do, or you may be telling somebody how you feel, or you may just be having a chat about what you're doing at school, or you might just have a chat to your mates in the playground. It is just a way of communicating and telling people your ideas or your feelings. And why do you think speech is used in stories or books? Just have a think. Pause the video and have a think why it is used in stories and books. Yes, so speech is used in books so that you know what the characters are saying to each other, or what the characters are thinking. Now, we're going to start by reading over chapter 1, reading some sections of it and finding where the speech is in the book. So we'll start on page 16. So again, chapter 1, first to catch your dragon. So it starts, long ago, on the wild and windy Isle of Berk, a smallish Viking with a longish name stood up to his ankles in snow. Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III, the hope and heir to the tribe of the hairy hooligans, had been feeling slightly sick ever since he woke up this morning. 10 boys, including Hiccup, were hoping to become full members of the tribe by passing the dragon initiation program. They were standing on a bleak little beach at the bleakest spot on the whole bleak of the island. A heavy snow was falling. So, from those 3 paragraphs we've read there, have we had any speech yet? Just have a think, have we had any speech? Okay, unpause the video and no, we haven't had any speech. Do we know why we haven't had any speech? Because nobody has said anything. Now, let's carry on. Pay attention, screamed Gobbler the Belch, the soldier in charge of teaching initiation. This will be your first military operation, and Hiccup will command the team. Oh, not Hiccup, groaned Dog Breath, the Durbrain, and most of the other boys. You can't put Hiccup in charge. He's useless. So, have a think. Now I've read these 2 paragraphs. Can you see any speech? Just pause the video and have a little think. You can see it there at the bottom. It's these 2 paragraphs. Good. So, we have seen some speech here. So, how do you know? Yes, we know because it is telling us that Gobbler screamed. So that's when he's saying something. Is there anything else? So this one it's a little bit difficult because in the book, normally when we are punctuating speech, we use our 66 and our 99, our speech punctuation. So it looks like that. But actually, if we look at the book, if we look at the book, we can see that they only use like 1. But you need to remember when we are writing our speech, we need to always use 2. Okay, so we will read a little bit more. I'm going to skip a little bit here and I'm going to just start from here. Anybody will be better than Hiccup, sneered Snotface Snotlout. Even Fishlegs will be better than Hiccup. Fishlegs had a squint that made him as blind as a jellyfish and allergic to reptiles. Silence! Roared Gobbler the Belch. The next boy to speak has limpets for the next 3 weeks. So we're going to stop there. Now we've read this little section. And I think it's almost time to write your own speech. But first, we are going to go over how we do it. So, here is the hand of speech, and each thumb or finger means one thing. I will turn it on its side so we can read it a little bit better. So first, when we start writing speech, we always start with open inverted commas, and these are our 66, so that will always go at the start. Next, we start the speech with a capital letter. Always start the speech with a capital letter. Then we write what the person or character said or said. Make sure that we put our punctuation in after, so maybe a comma, a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Sometimes it is, most of the time it's a comma, then sometimes it's a question mark depending on the question. And then we need to make sure that we close our speech by using closed inverted commas, and there are our 99s. So I will keep pulling that up every time we are going to start writing our own version. So now, from this little section, I have chosen first, the first one we are going to try and write our own speech for is this section here. But I'm going to cheat a little bit and I'm going to change the way it is. I'm going to take silence out, and it's going to be the next boy to speak has limpets for lunch for the next 3 weeks, roared Gobber the Belt. So, Gobber says that if the boys speak again, they have to have limpets for lunch for the next 3 weeks. So, we can now decide who we are going to write the speech, who's going to reply to that speech. And it could be anybody that we know from a story already. So it could be Dog's Breath, it could be Snotface Snotlout, it could be Hiccup. So I have an example, or I'm going to think of an example. And I am going to use mine. The person that's going to say mine, is Dog's Breath. So first, we need to think of how we would reply. So this is how we would reply. So, if I put this in the side, we need to remember open inverted commas to start. So we need to make sure we put our 66s in. Yes? So there. Then we need to start with the capital letter. So my speech is going to be, oh, Gobber, not limpets. They are absolutely disgusting, pleaded Dog's Breath. So I will write this down. So remember, capital letter O, gobber, and it's a capital letter for a name. No. Oh, I can't fit that word on there. Absolutely. Then, so we did the capital letter. We wrote what was said. Now I've punctuated it with an exclamation mark, and we need to make sure we do our closed inverted commas, which is our 99, which is there, and then we need to put our reporting clause on the end, and that is maybe said gobber, or it says here roared gobber the belch. Well, I'm going to put pleaded dog's breath because he doesn't want to have limpets for lunch. And I'm going to use dog's breath. So there we go. That is my sentence. And if we have a look at the hand, we have used the open inverted commas, yes. Capital letter, yes. Write what was said, yes. Oop, I've just spotted a little mistake there. Oh well, there we go. We can replace that. Have I punctuated it at the end? Yes. And have I used the closed inverted commas? Yes. So now, what I would like you to do is pause the video, and I would like you to have a go at your own response. So we are responding to the next boy to speak has limpets for lunch for the next 3 weeks. So just pause it now and have a go yourself. Okay, so good. You should have now had a go at your first punctuated speech. Now we're going to move on and do another one. I'm just going to skip on a little bit and read some more of the story, and then I'm going to show you which one we're going to use. Hiccup will be leading you, although he is admittedly completely useless, because Hiccup is a son of the chief, and that's the way things go with us Vikings. Where do you think you are? The Republic of Rome? Anyway, that's the least of your problems today. You are here to prove yourselves of a true Viking hero, and it is an ancient tradition of the hooligan tribe that you should, Gobber patriotically, first catch your dragon! Oh, suffering scallops, thought Hiccup. So, I've stopped here because the next piece of speech, I want you to write a reply to when Gobber says, first catch your dragon. Hiccup says, oh, Hiccup thinks, oh, suffering scallops. But we need to now write what Hiccup would actually say and how he would say it. So my example would be, how on earth are we going to do that? It must be impossible, mumbled Hiccup. And mumbled is just saying it very quietly, so not a lot of people can hear, because I think he mumbled it because I think Gobber would get very mad if he heard him say that. So now I'm going to write out my speech for you. And again, I'm going to start with my 66s. And remember my capital letter. How on earth are we going to do that? Oops, sorry. We'll rewrite it. It must be impossible. And then remember to punctuate it, and then your closed inverted commas, your 99s, and then you need to put your reporting clause, which I said mumbled hiccup. And there we go, that is a second example sentence. So now what I would like you to do is write your response for first catch your dragon. What do you think Hiccup would say back to that? Pause the video and have a go now. Okay, so you should have had a go. Now, before we move on, I would just like you to check that you have done all of these before we move on. Just double check that you've done all of those. Okay, so you should have now checked if you've done all of those. Now, I'm going to carry on reading from where we left off. Our dragons are what set us apart, bellowed Gobber. Lesser humans train hawks to hunt for them, horses to carry them. It is only Viking heroes who dare to tame the wildest, most dangerous creatures on earth. Gobber spat solemnly into the snow. There are 3 parts to the dragon initiation test. The first and most dangerous part is a test of courage and skill at burglary. If you wish to enter the hairy hooligan tribe, you must first catch your dragon. And this is why, Gobber continued at full volume, I have brought you to the scenic spot. Take a look at the wild dragon cliff itself. The 10 boys tipped their heads backwards, and the cliff loomed dizzyingly high above them, black and sinister. In summer, you could barely even see the cliff as dragons of all shapes and sizes swarmed over it, snapping and biting and sending up a whole cacophony of noise that could be heard all over Berk. So we're going to stop there again. And now the final bit of speech I would like you to write is a reply for when Gobber says, I have brought you to the scenic spot. Take a look at the wild dragon cliff itself. So it could be anybody could reply to this. So it's about what the boys think when they look up at this wild cliff. It's absolutely huge. So my response would be from Snotface Snotlout, and I would say, wow, that is huge! Do we have to venture up? Do we have to venture all the way up there? Exclaimed Snotface Snotlout. So, what do we need to use first? Again, when we are writing our speech, what do we need to do first? Yes, good. We need to put our 66s or our inverted speech commas. Then, what do we need to do? Yes, good. We need to remember capital letter. So I'll put my capital letter in. And then you need to write what's said. So I write what's said. So I said, wow, that is huge. Do we have to venture? And if you don't know what venture is, that just means sort of go there. All the way up there. Then what do we need to do? Yep, punctuation. Then our 99, close inverted commas. And then we need to put our reporting clause, which I put exclaimed snotflace snotlout. Oh, let's just make it a little bit clearer. And there we go, that is my third sentence for you. What I would now like you to do is have a go at your own. So you need to reply to, I have brought you to the scenic spot. Take a look at the Wild Dragon's Cliff itself. So what do you think one of the boys would say when they see that cliff? Have a go now. Pause the video. Okay, that's great. So now I would like you to make sure that you have done all of these in all three of the sentences that you have written today. Okay, so now you should have had time to do that. I'm just going to open the book up again. And I have a little challenge for you now. And this challenge is, I'm going to give you another little bit of speech, and I would like you to write your own response to this. And I am not going to give you an example sentence. So I am going to give you this section here. So this section here, so it's inside the cave. That would be the right eye of the skull is a dragon nursery where there are, at this very moment, 3,000 young dragons having their last few weeks of winter sleep. Exclaimed Gobber. So that is a section that I would like you to write. It says in the book here, "Oh," muttered the boys excitedly. But I think you yourselves could write a better response to what the boys think of that. So choose one of the boys and write your own about that section of the book. So remember, it's this bit here all the way down to here. So what you are going to write a reply for. Remember to use this. So your open commas, capital letters, write what they said, punctuate and close inverted commas. So I'll give you just a chance to do that. Okay, so you should have tried to write your own sentence now about that last piece of speech I have given you. So this is almost the end of today's lesson. What I would now like you to do is the three sentences that we wrote first, the pieces of speech that I gave you an example for, I would like you to write one of those into the blog so I can see what you have done. Then I would also like you to write your piece of speech, your challenge piece of speech, into the blog as well. So you need to have written 2 of the 4 sentences you have written today. 1 from the first 3 sentences you've written, and then you need to write your 4th and final sentence on the blog for me. I hope you've enjoyed the English this week as much as I have. And I hope you have done well. I am looking forward to reading everything and all the bits of work you produce.